Awesome. Blessings. Thank you so much for joining us today.
So grateful to be here with you. Thank you for this invitation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How is your year going so far? We've just begun, a new cycle. How are you feeling so far this year?
I'm feeling great. I've gotten into some new practices, which I'm very excited to jump into, and you've been a huge inspiration for me. So thank you. Yes, I've been doing more qigong, so I'm very excited to jump more and more into that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow, back in 2024, were you doing a whole lot of Qigong back then or even before then? Like when did you start doing Qigong?
I've been exposed to Qigong for a while. I've taken classes like here and there, but last year was really when I dived into it. And that was because of you. I saw you doing it daily and I jumped in on a few of your classes and I was like, wow, there's really something to this. I really should look into this more. And I've been doing it more often now and it's been such a blessing. So thank you for that inspiration.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm happy to, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to inspire and we're both rising higher, you
Yes.
know. We're both continuing and it's nice because you're in another streak as well. Like I like how you're doing the challenge. You've been doing planks with
Yes.
different people. Were you the one that started that?
I've been doing a plank challenge for a couple of years now, and I just started joining others plank challenges because it's fun to host them, but it's also fun to join when somebody else is hosting as well. So right now I'm jumping into the Abundant Yogi, who is a really awesome person too. Other people should follow. And yeah, he's hosting, and a lot of people are joining, and it's just fun. It's fun to get healthy and well together.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm wondering also, Jackie, is there a light anywhere like that could illuminate you a little bit better? I'm trying to see you. Just
Let me open the window up a little bit more. Just
okay, cool. Cool, cool. She doing shadow work. You doing shadow work right here.
all right. Is that a little better?
Much better.
Ah, wonderful,
Much better.
wonderful.
Much better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, you're doing shadow work.
I'm always doing shadow work.
She doing shadow work over there. I was like, oh man, she the light in the darkness.
Yes.
So you mentioned, I think it was Michael or the Abundant Yogi.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, how did you meet him? How did y'all get connected?
I got connected to him through the Purium network. So we both kind of help people with superfoods and nutrition and getting their bodies healthier. And so he's in the same network. We started following each other through that.
Awesome. Yeah, I seen some post on your page. Is that the one with the supplements and the different nourishments,
Yes.
like different nutritional, okay, packages?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah,
Awesome.
and they're all whole food products, so they're not filled with any binders, any fillers, just straight
Right.
plants.
Right. And on the post I seen it was well the one that I seen was back in 2023. When did you join the Purium network?
I joined in 2022.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So what do you feel like it's done for you since then? Because I used to be in a group sort of like that. It wasn't on the all health or all whole foods, health foods, or just nutritional supplements, but it was kind of in it was like a network marketing. It was one of those things that brought people together and would reach out to find people who were interested in creating more income through something that was providing a
Yeah.
service, providing something. So, what has it done for you to be a part of that community this long, since 2020?
Mm. Well, just personally, it's really shaped my health. Like, I mean, I've already been on a healthy journey of raw foods for a while,
Mhm,
and it just took me up another level.
mhm.
Just took me up another level, and it really helped. simplify things for me, because these are raw dehydrated foods, so they're still raw,
Right.
and they just become activated with water. So it just made traveling, it made just being on the go so much easier. You know, I don't have to bring a huge pile of fruit with me everywhere. I can just have these powders and add water, and it's been transformational for me with traveling,
Yeah.
especially.
Beautiful. Just add water, you
Just
know?
add water.
How more simple can you get? You know? How more simplified can we be? Just add
Yeah,
water. Just add
yeah.
water. I love it. You know, when you're talking about you know, water itself, do you use any particular type of water that you enjoy the most?
I love distilled water.
Okay.
Yes, distilled water is the water that I go with.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome. And you know, different people have different reasons. So what was your reason, Jackie, when you kind of brought everything down to distilled? You know, what was your reason to go with that above, you know, spring water or alkaline water or Kangen water or all the other types of waters that are on the market? You know, there's like so many waters. What was your reason for just going to distilled?
Well, I tried them all. I tried them all, and I was like, this one feels the best for me.
Mhm.
And that's what it is for me, is like I need to try things out and
Yeah.
see how it feels for me. And I just noticed for me that one helps clean my body the most, helps make me feel the most purified and well. Yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Honestly, you know, the feeling is the secret. You know, it's the feeling is that experience that, you know, no one's testimony is as powerful as your own within your own body. You know, when you're
absolutely.
feeling something on an experiential level, I think it supersedes and goes past the intellectual level, you know, all the other levels that you could go when you're actually feeling it, you know, on a palpable level in your body. It's, yeah, there's no denying it. You know, it's undeniable for sure. So awesome, Jackie. You know, when you're talking about cleaning out the body and just being quite some time on this healing journey, where did it originate for you? Where would you say were the beginnings of this path, like this trajectory that you're blazing the trail for yourself now when it comes to health and wellness?
Oh wow. I feel like it really just started with trying to get myself healthy. Most of my life, I was not very healthy. I had stomach issues,
Mm,
and there's different reasons for that too. And I hope we can kind of jump into that as well with like human design. But yeah, I was just not putting in the right stuff in my body.
mm,
And when I figured out, well, first of all, getting rid of animals. I stopped eating animals. That was a huge revelation for me.
mm.
And then just embarking on raw foods, fruits
Wow.
especially. I was like, wow, there's something to this energy. There's something to these sun foods,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And putting that pure sun energy in me. And so that really started in my 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, that really started in my 20s. And from there, I wanted, I was doing the raw lifestyle for a while, and people were asking me for tips and stuff. And I noticed a lot of people are like, well, I can't buy all that fruit.
Mm,
I can't do this and that. And that's why when I found Purium, I was like, wow, this is a really great system for people
mhm.
who want to add living foods to their life and not have it be so complicated. You don't need to buy a million fruits and be juicing and doing all this stuff. This company is already doing that for you. They're already distilling all these nutrients, keeping all these nutrients. They have a special way of preserving these nutrients, and I was like, wow, this is great for just any person. This is accessible for any person.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for bringing us down memory lane where it started because, you know, for myself, I mean, now I'm the only one in my family that, lives the way that I do, that operates like myself and kind of maneuvers throughout the matrix in the way that I do. I'm pretty much the black sheep, in the family when
I
it
feel
comes,
ya.
you feel me, you relate, you resonate.
Yes.
So, when it comes to not eating animals, if there was one thing that I wish I had done sooner or stopped sooner, that would have been it. Like I would have done that way sooner. I feel like I would have, saved myself a lot of pain, a lot of just unnecessary weight, unnecessary baggage, unnecessary turmoil, unnecessary, just the frequencies of self-sabotage, not even knowing, just being unconscious and just consuming and the craving and the desire and the addiction and the affliction and the constriction and all of that, it was just a whole thing for me growing up, but it was very normal. So I didn't stop, eating animal flesh until late in my 20s. You said it was in your 20s as well. So how young were you when you stopped?
I was about 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But the interesting part, though, is when I was younger,
Mhm.
I had the strong repulsion to eating meat.
Okay.
I, and later on, my dad told me when I was in my 20s that when I was 5 years old, I had asked him where meat came from.
Hmm.
And he said that, he didn't want to tell me because he thought I would never eat meat again. And
What?
our parents are doing the best that they can with the information that they have, right? That, that's what the program is telling them is healthy, is what we need for certain nutrients and stuff. So I don't blame our parents for wanting to do what they thought is the best for us, right?
Exactly. I'm glad that you're mature enough, Jackie, just to have the amount of compassion, to have the amount of grace and forgiveness, for your parents. Like it took that for me with my parents just to understand that for myself and for them as well, to know that, as I was growing up, they were growing up
Yeah.
too. Like they're growing up as I'm growing up. They're, like time is elapsing for both of us and we're both just learning as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that just kind of systemically get passed down generation to the next generation to the next generation, like it's always been this way. How did you rationalize the thinking when he told you, when he told you, Jackie, like, I don't want to tell you what this actually is because I'm afraid you won't eat it. How did you figure that was the reason? Like how did it make sense to you?
So I don't actually have a memory of that. I don't remember that particular time, but I do remember just putting up this fight around eating meat. Like, just, I'd finish all my fruits and vegetables, no problem. But, there was always the meat left over on my plate. And my mom's like, well, you need to finish all of your food before you leave the table. So, I would try to find ways to not eat it. So, I would maybe chew it and then like spit it in a napkin, try to feed it to the dog, like try to hide it. And then once my parents were figuring out I was doing this, they were like, no, you really need to eat it. So, in my mind, I thought, well, my parents are trying to look out for me. Maybe this is nutrients that I do need. And I forced myself to eat it. And I remember there's several times where I was just crying. I didn't want to do it, but I just forced myself. And I think after a while, I just became numb to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, this is what I need to do to be healthy. This is, just whatever else is going on is just maybe some fictitious thing in my mind.
Yeah.
But I was really just fighting against my natural tendencies, and not trusting myself. And it's hard when you're a child. You're just looking to adults for the information.
Right.
That you feel like they know what's best for you. They're providing for you, and you just accept it. And So it wasn't until I was older that I actually watched Earthlings. That's what really changed the game for me.
Same, same. That was actually gonna be my next question. If you ever went on to watch, like a documentary. So that was actually the reason why I stopped. Was that
Mm-hmm.
very same documentary narrated by Joaquin Phoenix. So
Yeah.
if anybody who's listening to this right now, who's watching this, and I always tell this to people, like, if you have any if you have any semblance of love for animals, like if you've ever had a pet or if you ever just, had a feeling of love for animals in general, just watch it.
Yeah.
Just watch it one time. Earthlings, just at least once. And in my opinion, I've seen so many people that, they go into veganism for different reasons. Like they become raw vegan for health reasons, for physical ailments, for, longevity, for vitality, for energy, for a lot of reasons. But when you're watching something like that, when I watched that, there was no going back. Like I couldn't unsee what I saw, and it became entirely for the animals. It was like I can't go back because I know now.
Yeah.
Like now I know what I had no idea was going on. So it wasn't even a choice anymore. It was like this is my path. Like I can no longer my soul was no longer in agreement.
Yeah.
So I've noticed when people have reasons, and this is just what I've noticed, maybe you can talk about what you've noticed, but when people have reasons like more physical or more health wise, they might go back to eating animal flesh. But if it's for the animals, it's hard for people to go back once they've seen certain things, or once they're no longer in alignment in their spirit, in their heart, and in their soul. It's like that kind of is a line that they draw in the sand. What could you say about that?
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think it's easy to really disconnect when you're just looking at it as meat, you
Right.
know? When you start thinking about it, this is the flesh of an animal,
Right.
And I actually just saw this video the other day about they were doing a bacon testing, taste testing, but it was kind of a joke, right? Because then they brought out a baby pig, and they were having people interact with this baby pig, and they're like, and then you see this connection happening for people, like, oh no, I don't want to eat this, and I think that's the point is people are so disconnected that these are living beings that have feelings, that have personalities, that want to live.
Mm.
They don't want to die, and especially in the conditions. I actually used to be an investigator on some of the farms, so I've seen things firsthand of what happens in these places. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I'm feeling your energy right now. Like, when you say you've seen, it sounds like you've seen, you know? Like,
I've
this is,
I've been there. I've felt the energy there. Oh my goodness, you just feel like you're stepping into a horror movie.
you know, I mean, seriously, it's crazy, Jackie, because I had one other interview, a conversation a while back, with, I believe her name, Natalie Fulton, and she's an animal activist. And she's animal rights activism. She told me that she spoke to the people that directed or pieced together the footage for Dominion. You've heard of Dominion?
Yeah, I've
So
seen it.
Dominion was another level. So I've seen Earthlings. I was done. I was already done when I watched Earthlings. I was done.
Yeah.
So I heard about Dominion. I ain't even watched it. I still haven't watched it. It was enough. It was enough
Yeah.
for me. But
Yeah.
I've heard that Dominion is even worse. And she spoke to the people that edited the footage for Dominion. She said, Jackie, that they said that there was footage that even they said, this is too bad. Like, this is too horrible. We can't put this in the movie. Like, even this is evil. Like, this is sinister. This is too bad. We can't even put this in the movie. And I mean, the movie's already it's horrendous, but
Yeah.
just to know that there were things that they had to leave out because it was just too much, you know, like it was just too much even for that. What I mean, what are some of the things that you witnessed when you were in those farms?
Well, first of all, when you step foot on the farm, the smell is just horrendous.
Okay.
You get closer to the barns, and it's really hard to breathe. Like the ammonia, the stench, the filth. And then when you go in and actually see the animals in there, the amount of suffering, you know, I'm a very empathetic person, and I could just feel how dark and how desperate these animals were, you know, and a lot of them you can just tell they just give up because they're just like, this is it for me. I'm prison here. I don't have any way of getting out of this. And you know, you see babies with their moms, like pigs, for example, and they're all laying in their own filth. Some of them are squished. The mom can't move around. She's just laying there, you know, laying there with her babies. She can't even enjoy being a
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, there's blood and poop and filth everywhere.
Yeah.
And some of some of these farms I visited were considered the best of the best farms.
Wow. Like top of the line. Yeah.
High rated, you know, all the labels, all the
Hmm.
labels.
Jesus, Jackie.
Yeah.
It gives you chills because you wonder sometimes, at least I wonder sometimes, like about our humanity and the things that we're able to do, and we we label it progress, like this is for our advancement of the species, but it's through the subjugation and the torture of other species. And so there's something called like speciesism. I didn't even know about speciesism. Just thinking that, we have hierarchy or we have dominance, just purely off the basis of being a human being, that we have dominion, over these other beings, and that we say whether they live or die, the day that they're born, they have an execution date, like the day that they're born. And here in Texas, I don't know about where you are, because where are you?
I'm in
So,
California.
so here in Texas, they have this thing where an animal, like a dog in a car, with the windows up on a hot day in Texas, they'll call the cops. Like
Hmm.
they'll call the cops on that person, like, hey, like there's a dog in somebody's car, like come get it. And they'll, maybe they'll unlock the car, pop it, or even bust the window, get them out of there because they're in somebody's car.
Yeah.
But like on the highway, every single day, these vehicles that are transporting these animals, this is standard procedure. This is standard. And this is happening every minute, every second, every day. And they're going to get killed. They're going to get slaughtered. They're going to die. And this is happening all the time. So it blows my mind when I was realizing this. And I'd never realized this, that I was passing by them every single day. And it was just so normal that, I just kind of was desensitized to, like you said, the torture, it's crazy, not to get off on a tangent, but it just makes you, you get emotional when you look into their eyes and you see like, what's the difference? You see their eyes, you see your eyes, what's the difference? You see they have emotions, you have emotions, what's the difference? You see they feel pain, you feel pain, what's the difference?
Yeah.
You know? So this is, I mean, it's largely debated, but no, I feel like a lot of conversations like this, and warrior, people like you, courageous people like you who are deviating from the traditional path, it's needed in the world, you know? Yeah. So thank you for your bravery, seriously. Was that the point where you were like, no looking back? And when you started to go more on raw veganism, raw foods, what started to transpire? How did you start to vibrate higher what were some of the things that started to disappear, you know?
Yeah. Well, a lot of, like I said, I had a lot of stomach issues growing up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was part because I was forcing myself to consume things that I knew weren't good for
Okay.
me. Right. So, yeah, when I started eating fruit, I don't know. I'm just a sun baby. I love being
Yeah.
in the sun.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would be out in the sun for hours. Sometimes I'd just be laying in the sun for hours. My family's like, "What are you doing? You know you're gonna
Mm.
get skin cancer, blah blah blah." And I was like, "I don't know. I just feel so good. Like I can't stop. Like I love the sun.
Mm.
You know."
Mm.
So when I started eating fruits, I just felt that on a different kind of level. I felt that through my cells, and I was like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. This is true nourishment.
Wow. Wow. And the sun is always there. You know, it's always been there since the beginning.
Yes.
You know, it's never left. That- that's unconditional love.
Mm,
If I could see an example, you
yes.
know, it comes out regardless.
Yes.
Regardless, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, where you've been, you know, like it's gonna shine on you and it's giving life, you know? Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful.
Children. Children
Mm-hmm.
of the sun, they say we're children of the sun. And, you know, with that sunlight nourishment, you know, the photonic nourishment of just that ionic nutrition, when did you, you know, graduate with other things like exercise and maybe yogic practices? When did yoga come into the field for you?
It's interesting. I feel like I've been kind of exposed to certain things throughout my life, but I've just never had teachers. So
Okay.
yoga actually came into my life when I was 13.
Mm.
But I didn't, I was just kind of like watching certain things that I could find. I was young. I didn't know about certain teachers and things like that. So I was just kind of doing my own thing, doing my own stretches and
Mm.
stuff. And then later on, I ended up getting certified in Ashtanga yoga.
Nice.
That was in, oh, time is interesting sometimes. That was what, 2019, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019. But yeah, I had been practicing before that, and I was actually introduced to meditation
Mm.
through my 8th grade homeroom teacher, and I just remember she led us through a guided meditation during homeroom, and I was like, "Wow, what is this?" For the first time in my life, I felt just completely relaxed and exploring this inner world that it just really opened up to me, this inner space. And I was like, there's something to this.
Yeah.
There's something to this. Like, I need to just keep doing this.
Oh my gosh. This was in eighth grade?
8th grade.
Your eighth grade homeroom teacher, you remember their name?
Yeah, Mrs. Colnane, bless her heart.
Mrs.
Mrs.
Comain.
Colnane.
Shout out to Mrs. Comain. Shout out.
it,
Oh my
it was
God.
funny because it was a Catholic school.
Okay.
So she was very unconventional. She was, just a trailblazer doing unconventional things. And bless her spirit, she's passed now, and bless
Okay.
her spirit for all the knowledge and tools that she passed to the youth.
Wow. Wow. Just, you know, and a tool just so indispensable, so like just so valuable, like a tool that just is a gift that keeps on giving. You know, as we're breathing, as we're living, it's the gift that keeps on giving, just to have that peace, to have that presence, and to relax the nervous system, to go within. You never go without when you go within, you
Yes,
know?
absolutely.
Oh, that is beautiful, Jackie. What a practice that you adopted in eighth grade. Who would I be? Who would I be if I would have started meditating in eighth grade? That's amazing. And you said that it was the first time in your life that you had started feeling that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I felt like I had kind of glimpses of it.
Mm,
So with my family, you know, we used to have like family gatherings a lot, and all the cousins. We were kind of around similar ages,
mm,
so we'd get together in some of our cousins' rooms, and we kind of have like a little relaxation
yeah.
time. So we'd turn on some like Enya
Mm,
music,
mm.
and we'd all kind of lay down and like give each other massages and just relax. So I felt a little glimpse of that during those times, but meditation, whole different experience.
Blasting off.
Blasting
Yeah, yeah.
off.
You had great friends. You had great friends around you, Jackie. Like, that's awesome that you had people around you and just such a support system, such a sense of community already,
Mm,
you know, before the communities that you're in now, just kind of growing up with that environment, you know, and kind of shaping and molding and coloring and, you know, making you into who you are with our environment. You know, people talk about the nature and the nurture and that it really has an effect. The people that we connect have an effect for sure.
absolutely. And especially, I'm going to jump into human design a little bit.
Go ahead.
So, I'm a projector. I don't know if you're familiar with the different types or types.
Hmm.
So, as a projector, I only have two definitions, two centers of definition. So, I have a whole bunch of openness in my
Okay.
chart, which means I can be influenced by other people or outside forces, and I'm very open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who I have around me is very important
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like the energy that I take on or the energy that shapes me. So um, I realized that, like later on, I realized that I was amplifying a lot of this energy, and I didn't understand at the time these energy dynamics. You know, I was just like, wow, you know, in certain situations I feel calm, I feel collected. Other situations I feel very excited or just all over the place, and I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I feel like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm generally a calm and collected person, but in these different situations, I'm changing. What's going
Right.
on? And so when I came to human design, I was like, oh, I see what's going on now. What a blessing human design has been for me. Seriously, what a blessing.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you know, I've heard so many people as well echo that statement, you know, that sentiment, Jackie, when they're talking about, you know, even beyond just astrology, beyond the I Ching, beyond like all sorts of things, just to have that harmonious blend in that marriage and just the culmination of all the information into just human design, you know, like what is our human design? And it's divine, you know, when we take the time, it's divine. it
Yes.
it frees the mind, you know, it's divine, you know. With my human design, I'm a generator,
Okay.
so I'm a two four
Okay.
two four generator. So I'm sure with you know a lot more about human design than I do, so I'm sure that makes sense just knowing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a 2-4. That probably makes sense to you. Maybe some other people are wondering like, well, what does that mean? But the hermit and the opportunist, you know, so I have those days where I, you know, gotta go in, but then I have those days where I come out. You know? Yeah. And all my projector friends, the people who are projectors, are very chill, but they're also very conscious of their space.
Yeah.
Very conscious. They need that time to relax. You know, they need that time to just take a break from other people for a while. Because, like you said, they can be very influenced. You can be very influenced, and you understand the impact and the influence of your surroundings, and you know what you need for grounding. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. Yes, we do. As projectors, we need time to be out of the sacral energy. That's what it is.
Mhm.
We have we don't have a sacral. Our sacral is open, right?
Okay.
So we need time to be out of that field because we can amplify that energy.
Right.
And sometimes we can confuse that energy and think that it's our own. I made that mistake a lot of times in my earlier life where, oh, I can keep going, I can keep going, I can keep doing this. And then all of a sudden I get out of that field and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted.
Okay.
I just felt like I just got hit by a train. What is going on? And it was just, it's just that you need your time to really decompress from that energy because it can be a lot. It can be a lot.
Okay. Thank you for that honesty and just for illustrating that point and just giving that testimony, for people that, they go through burnout and they go through just, they just run into a wall, and just hit a wall and have to really take a forced break, a forced time out, like we cannot go on like this. So could you tell us, what was one of those times or one of those scenarios where you realize, no, I can't keep, the train can't keep running at this pace, this locomotive, this is not a race. I need to go at a slower pace. And what did you do to address it when you felt burned out? Yeah.
I'm still learning about it. I feel like I'm still deconditioning from that because I often think that I can just keep going, and I now I'm realizing I need a lot more rest.
Okay.
And I don't need, this isn't a race. This isn't a race.
No.
Taking care of yourself and taking the time to relax and rest is so important, and it's okay.
Right.
And it's okay to be you and to fulfill your role. Everybody has a specific role here, right? So when you embody your role, that's when we all can be empowered.
Embodiment.
Embodiment.
Yeah. Embodiment and just empowerment. Like, they talk about if somebody thinks leadership is power, I feel like true leadership is empowerment, and we really empower others once we first empower ourselves.
Absolutely.
When you take care of your health, you can lift someone else when you take care of yourself, So empowerment, like through your self-empowerment, now you're going on to empower so many people just through these practices, through these learnings and the ways you're discerning, just to be a little bit more selective within the collective. Yeah.
I love it. I love your words and flow, brother.
It makes sense.
Absolutely.
It makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
I see now. So I love what you said, Jackie, about that we all have a role to play and that each one of us has our own divine and unique purpose. What would you say for yourself, for Jackie Cassandra? Like, what is your purpose that you feel you have been given here?
I feel like my purpose is to bring some of the unknown knowledge to the known world. I feel like there's so many ancient practices and wisdom that has been forgotten or has been suppressed. And I feel like I'm here to bring awareness to that and to bring those practices back. And I feel like there's so many individuals that are already doing it, like yourself too. And I also want to just empower more projectors because I feel like a lot of projectors don't understand what's going on with their energy, and they're continuously being conditioned by, the programs of this world, by, 70% of the world is sacral beings, generators and manifestors. So we're in this field of operation of where, you know, we think we need to keep going and going, like I was telling you before. And we need to realize that we are different. We don't have that sustainable sacral energy, and we're going to continue to burn out if we try to behave like that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a lot of projectors in the world that are unhealthy because they're trying to be somebody who they're not.
Great point. Great point. You know, only someone who knows could say such a thing. You know, like
I've been through it. I know. I've been through it.
Yeah, it's like you're speaking like someone, you know, I've been there, you know. Only someone who knows. I felt your energy. I felt your energy. And, you know, just to have that understanding and, you know, of what's been demanding. Like there's so much hustle and bustle and action and manifestation and do it now and take a risk and take a chance and get up and go and get something and be somebody and do something and go somewhere, and you're just like, no. Like, no. Like, how about no? You know?
How about some of that? How about some of that? And
Yeah. You're
mix
just
in
like,
some rest in there too. Mix in some rest and rejuvenation too.
let me sprinkle, you know. So we need to sprinkle some rest in the recipe, right?
Yes.
We need to sprinkle the introspection and the ingredients, right? That needs to be added in. Like, can we add that in just a little? Just,
Yeah.
just a little bit more, right? Give ourselves grace.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for that testimony, just for that message for people, because, you know, I know my sacral is wide open at times. Like my creative center wants to go here and there and everywhere. But somebody was also saying, you know, if life is a race, then what is the finish line? You know? Like where's the finish line? If it's a race, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I thought about it like that, I was like, where am I running to?
Yeah.
You know, where am I running to? What am I running from? You know? So it really made me sit down just like yourself. It made me meditate on that and made me contemplate on that and realize, wow, there is no rush, there is no race at all. You know? So I love how you give the message, Jackie, of embracing your uniqueness, embracing your experience, and just embracing your flow, your own rhythm that is unique to you as an individual. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. You know, you were speaking earlier about your specific yogic practice. And, you know, some people talk about, you know, hatha yoga, some people talk about kundalini yoga. But if anybody had never heard of Ashtanga, how would you describe it?
Wow, that's a great question. I feel like with Ashtanga, there's more emphasis on the 8 limbs of yoga and more emphasis on certain sequences. So there's just a sequence that you can follow through that makes it just kind of easier in your practice. Like when I first started doing yoga, I was just kind of just winging it, just kind of doing some postures here and there, moving my body, not really knowing, but there's a certain sequence that opens up your body on certain levels, opens up the muscles in different areas so that by the time you get to certain poses, it's easier to do, if that makes sense.
Okay. So it's just gradually opening and expanding and stretching, like it's opening you up, preparing you for the sequences that you will eventually arrive to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, you know,
Awesome.
like instead of just jumping into this very advanced pose, you go through these sequences so that your muscles and everything is receptive to that and able to do that without hurting yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, they say that slowly is the quickest way to
Yes.
where we want to be, you know, slowly. Slowly is the quickest way. It's very paradoxical, but you know, I love it. The tortoise and the hare, you
Turtle
know,
wisdom, turtle wisdom, one of my spirit animals.
you know,
Yes.
right there, right there. And I saw a hashtag, Jackie, you put up pranayama. Has pranayama been a practice of yours as well, like breathing?
Yes,
Okay.
it has. Yep.
How has
Hmm.
that served you?
It has been very transformational with just really tuning into my heart and
Right.
really stilling my heart and being able to transfer kind of my energy more so into my heart
Mm-hmm.
and tuning into that stillness.
Mm.
That's what,
We need it.
yeah.
Yeah. We need to tune in, you know, to turn on. Like
Yeah.
there's things that we turn on when we tune in,
Yeah.
for sure. Like there's things we got to tune out, you know. But then we also tune in. You know, I love also there's something on your bio, Jackie. It says visionary wellness guide, you know? And I'm wondering, you know, these two words together, visionary and wellness, and being a guide for other people, how do you feel like you've been leading people in that way when it comes to visionary, like, or just being a visionary wellness guide?
Yeah, well, that's part of my human design. So I'm a 3-5
Okay.
profile. Yeah. So that's part of my 5, my kind of unconscious side.
Mhm.
But I feel like visionary is just a way of doing things that are different, that really bring a new way of seeing things,
Mhm.
right? So being 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 a guide in terms of things that are not necessarily mainstream.
Mm.
So paving the way for a different way of wellness.
Mm.
And that's where I feel like raw foods, pranayama,
Yeah.
yoga, qigong, all of these practices. And now I'm venturing into EFT, which is very similar to using the meridians
Mm.
as we do in qigong as well,
Yeah.
to facilitate wellness. And very excited to embark on that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating. You know, emotional freedom,
Yes.
the emotional freedom technique. So that's, I think I've seen Michael, or I think I've seen the Abundant Yogi do that as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He does he's like
Tapping.
tapping, he's like
Yeah. With affirmations.
with the affirmation. So have you already seen like results when it comes to EFT? What are some of the things that you've explored already?
Absolutely. Like immediate results. Just doing the typical general tapping sequence.
Mhm.
Anybody can feel the, I practice with my husband all the
Mhm.
time. And sometimes he's just like, oh, I'm feeling anxious or I have this pain. And I'm like, okay, let's tap on it. Let's tap together on it. And we'll go through the sequence. And he's like, I feel better. I feel better. And there's so many accounts of people doing this where they can just transform within minutes.
Mm. I love this. You said let's tap on it.
Let's tap
You know?
on it.
Let's tap in so we don't tap out. Right? Let's
Yes.
get a few chi taps so we don't relapse.
Ooh. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So with your husband as well, it sounds like it's been transformational. I love that you both, you know, have that camaraderie, have that closeness together. Because I saw you eloped, was it last year?
Yeah, in July of last year.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love like just the beautiful view with you both. It was like a beach,
Yeah,
you're both just
Hawaii.
smiling. Yeah, just Hawaii, you said?
Yes.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. So, how has it been to have your husband with you on this journey and just with your learnings? Like, how has it been with you together?
He's just an absolutely amazing soul. Just so incredibly supportive and so open to trying things, which I'm so grateful for.
Mhm.
He's really just, when I'm exploring something, he's like, oh, okay, let me try it out too. So he's just always willing to dive in and join in on the new practices
Mhm.
and he's just so when I'm not feeling so great or not feeling so empowered, he's there to remind me of my power.
Awesome. Awesome. For a lot of people, Jackie, like, when it comes to their practices, the methods, the modalities, or even the change in their own mentality, like if someone is living in almost a separate reality as their companion, their partnership, or just the person that they're willing to spend the rest of their life with, sometimes there can be a disconnect, even with dietary disciplines. Like if
Mm-hmm.
somebody is raw vegan and then the next person is eating animals every day right next to them at the dinner table, it can be really tough,
Yeah.
for some people to kind of stomach that, so to speak, or just to constantly deal with it right there in their face. But what would you say the dynamic has been with you and your husband? It sounds like it's very supportive. It sounds like it's very uplifting and very encouraging for you both as you walk this path
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. It's also very helpful. I don't know if you've explored your digestion in human design,
Mm-mm.
but my husband and I actually have the same digestion, which is very helpful in terms of like meal prepping and
Whoa.
the foods that we eat. Of course, like he still loves certain things that I have kind of stepped away from, but when we first started dating, he started buying all this equipment to make raw foods. I was like, okay, this person's willing to do this when we're dating
Wow.
to make that level of commitment, that really opened up my eyes. I'm like, okay.
He got points. He got some bonus points there. You're like,
Yeah, okay. So yeah, he's been just very open and receptive and I've been very respectful of his path too and honoring where he is too. Like not pushing anything on him and he's just been very open and just willing to make whatever changes he feels is right for
right.
him and just supporting each other on along the way and it's helpful because he was also already vegan too
Mhm.
which I wanted that was something that I was looking for in a partner. If I'm going to be with somebody, they need to have the same kind of values and
Wow.
lifestyle as me, right?
Wow. Wow. Love the honesty. Love
Yeah.
the honesty. It's wow. It's cool that well, he already was gaining points from the get-go. Like, okay, okay, check. Okay, check, check.
Yep.
Right? You were just checking off the boxes. You're like, okay, if he's this dedicated now, if he's this committed now, then yeah, it's looking good. It's
Yes.
looking good.
Yes.
So awesome that I also love that you say that you don't push anything. I do the same thing with my family. I don't push anything on anybody. Even when I'm with them every year for Thanksgiving, they have the big spread, the big family meal, and I don't try to convince or try to convert or try to do anything to anybody. I just let everybody live and let live.
Yeah.
Everybody's on their own journey, their own path, their own understandings and their own awareness of what it feels like for them, their own experience that they're willing to have for themselves. And it's awesome because I feel like what you're doing, it illustrates that living by example is the most powerful way. Just to live by example, to lead by example, and to let everybody come to their own conclusions, their own solutions. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
best way.
I've definitely been on the other side of trying to force my beliefs and
Mhm.
trying to make people aware of certain things and it doesn't work.
No.
that force doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It does. You're like, trust me, it does not work. You're like, take it from me. You're
Yeah.
like,
Been there, done that. Nope.
yeah. You know, there's a saying, and I read this years ago, Jackie, in a book by a man named Dale Carnegie. Wrote a book called uh, How to Win Friends.
Yeah.
How to Win Friends, Dale Carnegie. And he wrote in this book, Jackie, he said, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. It was like a rhyme, you know? It was like, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And it was like, oh, you know, it can't come from the outside. It has to come from the inside. You know? Yeah. So it sounds like you just run up against that wall so many times. You're like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. You can have it. You know, you can have it. Oh man. You know, I would love to know as well. We touched on the EFT, but for anybody who doesn't really understand what is actually happening in the body while they're doing EFT, while they're tapping in those, you know, those places and they're reciting affirmations with the sensation, what is actually happening?
Yeah, you're tapping on specific areas, so specific meridians, and you're basically opening up those channels. You know, you're opening up those channels so energy can flow again, because we get stagnant in certain areas because of emotional blockages, trauma, etc. So when you're doing that, you're just opening those channels so energy can flow again. And then you're also rewiring the brain. So the phrase that you're using is that you're, you know, acknowledging what's going on. You're acknowledging the pain, the trauma.
Okay.
And then you're also saying, well, even though I have this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So you're affirming that. Even though these things I'm feeling, these things that are changing, these things that I'm experiencing are happening, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Yeah.
And it's just so powerful when we can acknowledge that and remind ourselves of that. Like, no matter what's going on, what we're experiencing, what trauma, etc., it's still love. It's all love.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all love.
That's how we rise above.
Yes.
You know? It's all love. It's all love. Just to have that self-compassion, that self-understanding, that self-acknowledgement, and just that self-care, that self-love, that just, yeah, just the self-worthiness, realizing it's all love. The acceptance to have that connection with yourself, you know? Yeah, it's tremendous. That's tremendous. And if I'm hearing you correctly, Jackie, it sounds like, you know, we can go a lot higher once we rewire. And, you know, there's a lot more we can handle when we open these channels.
I love it, brother. I love it. I love it.
That's it.
Yes.
It's simple. It's so simple.
It's so simple.
It's so simple. So thank you just for bringing it back to simplicity. Like, I love your energy. I love the electricity and just the synchronicity of all these things that you've been learning over the years and are still learning. You're still a student of life. This is what I love about you.
Students.
I love this about you the most, Jackie. Like, you're always like, class is always in session. And there's more continual progression, you know? There's more. There's more. You're like, we're not done. The story is not done. We're not done, you know? But yeah, but we still sprinkle. We still sprinkle it. You're gonna get it. has been so much fun. This has been so much fun with you. Seriously, thank you for
Yeah.
coming on here.
Thank you again for inviting me. Like I know I need to step into speaking more, and I know this has been kind of a little bit of a fear of mine too. So thank you for calling me out and being like, I was like, I need to jump on a call with him. Like I really do. And I was just like, let me just throw it out there. And you're like, hey, why don't we do this date? And I was like, okay, let's do
Yeah.
it. So
Nothing
thank
to it.
you, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you for who you are and all of the wisdom and beautiful flow of words that you bring every day. I love it. Thank you.
I'm happy to be on this journey together. We're on this journey together. We're not just talking together, we're walking together,
Yeah.
for real. And just right before you go, Jackie, if there's someone that wants to get in tune with you or more in touch with you, and they just listen to your story and they're like, this girl is awesome. I want to learn more about her. Or, I may want some of her offerings, her services, anything that she has available. What's the best place that people should go to receive that?
Yeah, you can actually go on my IG and I have a link in the bio and I
Mhm.
have all of my offerings there that you can easily click on. So raw bliss greens.
Beautiful, beautiful, awesome. All right, all right.
Aw,
Much love,
thank you so
much
much,
love, Jackie.
brother.
Yes, and thank you to everyone who joined. Appreciate everyone who listened in. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well.
Right.